Hi, Wake Forest. My name is Spencer Schiller, and I'm running for student government president. I think I'm the best candidate for the position because of my unique platform. So my platform runs on three ideas. One of them, the first, is traditions, and that goes along with new traditions as well as the old ones that brought us to be the great university we are today. The second is wellness, and the third is diversity and inclusion. So under the first section of my platform, I go into the idea that Wake Forest has had all sorts of old traditions like our great sports program and our liberal arts history that have brought us to this point today, as well as new traditions like Wake Downtowns and maybe reaching out better to many alumni. So when we're talking about old traditions, we often address Wake Forest's incredible sports culture. So specifically, a lot of athletes who are on full or partial scholarships have to deal with being able to park on campus but not having this parking pass. It's almost $500 per year, and for athletes who are on full scholarships, this is really difficult to afford. I know a lot of individuals on the football team who show up really early in the morning to their brand new football facility, can't park there, and then come out and their car has multiple tickets. So we're going to try to change that. Second part with old traditions is the idea of liberal arts. And this probably is the most labor intensive and maybe important part of my platform. I want to get back to the idea that we are a liberal arts school. We have liberal art histories, and that's how we should move forward. So, although it's incredible that we have so many students who are interested in business and pre-med, it's really important that we encourage those methods of exploring liberal arts facilities in the future. So, for instance, what we want to do is create a liberal arts leadership scholarship. This will go to a freshman who has a 4-year program to focus on any liberal art faculty that Wake Forest specializes in. Then this will probably be a partial scholarship at the beginning from $10,000 to $15,000, something like that, and it will be a fundraising job on top of all of student government. We will also reach out to donors and possibly use other sources of funding like the provost's office or the president's office. So we're really excited about that. Now, when we're talking about new traditions, we have an unbelievable facility downtown. And a lot of times we don't get to experience Winston-Salem or other schools because of this Wake Forest bubble. So what I want to do is address certain aspects of Wake Downtown, like First Friday, which is an art exhibition downtown that students can get involved in if we have social events and then have them go throughout the community. This allows them to reach students like at UNCSA, at Winston-Salem State, and Salem College. So this is a great opportunity and actually not a very difficult initiative. So hopefully we'll see that in the future. The second for new initiatives is that of reaching out to alumni groups and understanding, so if you were a student on campus, how can our group on campus now reach out to me now that I'm alumni? So personally, if I had my Greek organization, or if I had student government, if I had Wake and Shake, if I had President's Aids, and those groups that I'm a part of reach out to me and say, hey, these are our members, this is what I'm doing once a semester, and then prove it, it shows to administration that we love getting in contact with our alumni, creates great alumni relations, and easily creates this better long-standing relationship. So then getting into wellness and diversity and inclusion. Under wellness, I have two very concrete plans. So one is to look at how can we address the idea of not having enough multilingual counselors in the counseling center. We have an increase of international students and we have an increase in recruiting international students, but we have no counselors who speak Mandarin. We also have very few who actually identify as being LGBTQ+. So we're going to work on changing that as we have tried to do in the past, but be preemptive with a plan. Now, and the second part of wellness is to understand what kind of study drugs are used at Wake Forest. We always talk about substance abuse with drugs and alcohol, but the idea of illegally using Ritalin, Adderall, and having overconsumption of caffeine and maybe binge not sleeping affects so many people at Wake Forest, and we never talk about it. So that will be a concrete plan that is actually worked into Wake Forest student government mental health initiative, which I began 2 years ago. And then finally, talking about diversity and inclusion is important on our campus. So I actually had two students, Erica Jordan and Javian Thompson, approach me and say, hey, this is a great idea that we have, and we think in order for you to reach out to marginalized communities, we need a new position on the executive board of student government. This will be a paid position, It will be in contact with the rest of the executive board, and they may potentially have either be worked into the student government constitution through an amendment process or have committee members. So we have all sorts of routes on how to work this in the future, but the most important thing is that we have this member who understands when privilege should be checked within student government, when we say, hey, this marginalized community is actually not hearing their voice on this bill. And that way, we have a new position who really spreads out this process. Now, the second part is actually kind of tied in with the first part of diversity and inclusion. That is a research initiative. The idea is that Wake Forest as a whole does not have enough diversity and inclusion, but where is that? And how do we change that? So if we look at specific groups on campus, like which majors don't have enough African American professors? Which student as a senior has not fulfilled a cultural diversity requirement? Which major needs this diversity? And we can also create this in a positive culture. So constructive criticism, like saying, hey, over the past 10 years, how has Wake increased in this area? And then we can publish this through a research study in the OGB, or maybe publish it as a sort of video series. We're also looking to partner with a couple big names on campus, so hopefully they'll jump on board of this initiative, and we can look back at this every single year to check how have we grown as a university. So all of these different ideas kind of wrap up into one idea that I'm running on, which is our Wake Forest. And I hope that together we can create a greater university and build on the traditions, create better wellness, and overall improve our diversity and inclusion. Thanks for listening.